In 1949, the London Declaration brought the new Commonwealth into being. And it was an incredible moment, because here were countries who had been part of the British Empire deciding to voluntarily stay in friendship because of the hopes and aspirations that they shared.
The modern Commonwealth was born with King George VI as its head. But the future of the Commonwealth was entrusted to his daughter, the next monarch.
The role of the head of the Commonwealth was something which she took on in the most extraordinary way.
To witness the relationship that she has with other Commonwealth heads of state, she's hugely respected, but she respects them too. And it's something that's in her DNA. We just see it, and it's impossible not to follow her lead.
It is the most incredible alignment of 53 countries, big ones, small ones, rich states, poor states, from 6 different parts of the world. There's something that pulls people together, this striving to do what's right.
The Commonwealth has experienced many turbulent times during its 70 years, never more so than in 1961 with the crisis over apartheid in South Africa.
After half a century, the Union of South Africa has withdrawn from the British family of nations. Racial discrimination remains her policy, and she will not apply for continued membership of the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth came to a very clear decision that all our citizens have to be equal. They led the charge to say this is unacceptable. Her Majesty the Queen stood with her Commonwealth on apartheid, and she stood with her Commonwealth all the way through.
Over the years, the Queen's love for the Commonwealth has been actively supported by the roles taken on by her family, starting initiatives that are vital across the member states.
The Trachoma initiative is to try and eliminate one of the world's most contagious blinding diseases. It's a vicious disease which is caused by a bacteria. Once the bacteria is in the eye gets inflamed and the eyelash turns inwards, and eventually they will lose their sight. When I was in Malawi 2 years ago, I went into a school and I saw the children teaching each other how to wash their hands and the importance of washing their hands. And then I also saw people who were about to have surgery and people who had had surgery and had their sight restored. 2 years down the line, they're trachoma free, and it is unbelievable. It is a legacy of the Trust. More than that, it's a legacy of the Queen. Her name on this Trust has brought together people to deliver something which is almost beyond a dream. It's a huge achievement. It'll go down in history.
The Malawi Trachoma project is one of many as the Commonwealth strives for a brighter future for all.
The Commonwealth has always been right there at the forefront of the emerging issues, and they were the one who first raised in 1989 the whole question of climate change, and it's still doing that today. Look at our blue oceans and our blue charter.
And as the world continues to change, it's not just the planet that needs the Commonwealth, but its billions of inhabitants.
We need to be able to look at how to support humanity at a time when nationalism is on the rise. I am so grateful that we have 53 countries who are willing to demonstrate to the world what partnership can deliver. There has never been a moment when we have needed the Commonwealth more.
Robert Hardman, I remember as a young foreign correspondent in Africa, frequently hearing the Commonwealth derided as merely a talking shop. Can you point to tangible achievement in the 70 years of its existence?
Well, I think a lot of us will look back to the real heyday of the Commonwealth as, firstly, the 70s, when there was just this sense of democratic reform, particularly in places like Africa, and it was the Commonwealth that was instrumental in leading the way away from the old legacy of empire, and particularly in Rhodesia, and creating Zimbabwe. And then after that, leading on in the 80s to the dismantling of the beginning of the dismantling of apartheid, it was the Commonwealth that was the first organisation to talk about sport as a means for bringing apartheid to an end. It was instrumental in all those things. Since then, obviously, it's possibly lost some of that major sort of geopolitical impetus, but it's still really important at a human level as we see today.
And not afraid to kick out members if they're misbehaving.
No, that is a crucial point. It is a club, and people don't like being kicked out of a club. I mean, South Africa actually resigned before it was pushed out, but over the years, when countries have really stepped over the line, they have been shown the door. And
Gambia,
really
Zimbabwe.
Indeed, Gambia, Zimbabwe, Fiji, Pakistan after a military coup, and just last year there was a very special moment when after many years outside in the cold, as it were, Gambia was readmitted, and there was a ceremony at Marlborough House in London, and their flag went back up alongside all the others, and it mattered a huge amount. It was a big moment for Gambia, and people do like being part of this club. They don't have to be a member of the Commonwealth. No one is forced to, and yet 53 nations, 52 of whom at one point or another have had Britain running the show, and they have all elected to be here today.
Thank you, Robert. Sonali Shah is now joined by two people who've been heavily involved in the work of the Commonwealth.
I'm with Chair of the Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Trust, Sir John Major, and Commonwealth Secretary General Baroness Scotland. If I may come to you first, Sir John Major, your experience with the Commonwealth started actually before your time as Prime Minister. During that brief period you were Foreign Secretary. What do you think its single biggest achievement has been to date?
Well, the Commonwealth has soft power, not hard power, but I don't think I've any doubt its biggest single achievement was the ending of apartheid. The Commonwealth stood together, and something that was utterly indefensible eventually couldn't stand against it. There are many other things, of course, but that I think stands out.
One of its big aims now is eradicating avoidable blindness. We just heard the Countess of Wessex talking about that. How is that coming along?
Well, it's coming along very well. There are literally millions of people, and I mean that, literally millions of people who've had their sight saved by the work of the Queen Elizabeth Diamond Jubilee Trust, which was set up to honour Her Majesty's 60 years on the throne. And it's not just trachoma, which is a real problem in Africa, but trachoma has been largely dealt with in 7 African countries now, and 5 other Commonwealth countries. But it's also dealing with the frequent blindness of premature babies in India. That has made tremendous progress, and also across the Pacific, diabetic retinopathy, all of which rob people of their sight, all of which we've made huge advances in.
Baroness Scotland, last year the Commonwealth really stated its commitment to helping out the oceans and protecting them. Why is that so important to the Commonwealth, and have you seen action from member states?
Well, it's incredibly important to the Commonwealth because of the 39 small states in the world, the Commonwealth has 31. And for particularly those small island developing states, the existential threat of climate is really real. And we saw that in 2017 with all the storms and the hurricanes which decimated those islands. So looking at oceans, working out what we can do to help deliver what we would wish to see was of critical importance. So we're incredibly proud that last year, when we came together in London and Windsor as a whole Commonwealth family, all 53 countries, we committed ourselves to the Commonwealth Blue Charter, which inculcates all the aspirations we have for our oceans to make them healthy and more vital. And we are working in a very concrete way. We have 9 groups, action groups, and we are coming together in May, so just 2 months' time, all the champions are going to come together, and we're going to learn from each other what works, but also what doesn't.
In the film, just before we came to you, we heard Baroness Scotland saying, actually, there's never been a time more important for the Commonwealth. We need the Commonwealth. Would you agree, Sir John Major?
I'd absolutely agree. I mean, the Commonwealth is a curious mixture of quite rich, quite powerful countries and very poor countries. But 50% of the Commonwealth is aged 30 or less, and their future matters, and the decisions taken now by both the large and the small countries separately and working together are crucial to the future of those 50% who are under the age of 30. So I think it is crucial. And there are many fine young leaders, which we found right across the Commonwealth, who can contribute to that.
In fact, we'll be hearing from a couple of them very, very soon.
Good.
Thank you so much for your time.